Okie dokie. Watching The Whale in cinema has to be one of the most uncomfortable, unnerving, visceral experiences I've had recently. It's a movie that hurts to watch, disgusting and horrifying at the same time. One where you want to squirm and reel away, but your eyes are glued to the screen at all times. It's a story that follows the final days of a broken, obese man contained within the confines of his own body and his house, which is where 95% of the film takes place. Because of his eating habits, Charlie doesn't have long to live, so we're left to watch his interactions with the small cast of characters that visit him during his final days. Right off the bat, there's a sense of foreboding looming over, as Charlie refuses to visit the hospital due to fear of the debt of healthcare and his own self-loathing. You already get the feeling that there's likely nothing that can be done for the situation. We've arrived too late, and can only watch as a countdown in the form of the days of the week slowly ticks away at his failing heart. Right before this, I decided to have the smart idea to enjoy a KFC Zinger box, and I had a soda left over that I was going to enjoy while watching this movie. I haven't regretted something so much till this point. Watching this man destroy himself on something I had just eaten before was awful. I couldn't even touch my cup of solo after the first 30 minutes because I couldn't bring myself to partake in the same activity that was ruining this man's life. And because he is aware of his imminent fate, he's trying to reconnect with his daughter, and we learn that he left her and his wife to date a male student 8 years ago. We're also introduced to his caretaker and a missionary that comes to preach the words of God, or at least the words of the New Life Church, this kind of not a cult but probably is a cult. This is very much a character-driven story, and it's very clear from the start that you're not going to enjoy the company of these people. Charlie's daughter Ellie is angry and spiteful at everyone around her, who doesn't shy away from mockery and blackmail for her own amusement. Thomas the missionary has a hero complex and believes converting Charlie is the only way to save him from his ailments. Liz the caretaker seems to want to push everyone away from Charlie so she can be the only one looking after him, his only friend. Their connection being much deeper than initial assumption. It's a story about a man sitting at the lowest point of his life, unable to lift himself up physically and emotionally. There's definitely a sense of horror, or at least anxiety, at seeing what the bottom of a barrel looks like in the form of a human being. This man has made mistake after mistake during his unfortunate life, and we see this reflected in his family. Trying to rectify his years of neglect by paying for his daughter's company and promising to write her homework for her. It's this relationship that cuts the deepest for me. As a child of a divorce, knowing what it feels like to see a parent who you have not seen for almost all of your childhood try and come back like nothing has happened. Mixture of happiness and frustration that you have over the broken connections you have to call a family. Brendan Fraser does an amazing job playing his role. I'm sure you've heard the news, this is his first major role after being blacklisted from Hollywood for coming out as a victim of sexual assault. Many people are looking forward to seeing him return to cinema, and it's a return most welcome. His performance is able to completely sell the emotional highs. One of my favourite scenes is one you can see in the trailer where he says,
"I need to know that I have done one thing right with my life."
Watching this scene play out in the actual movie just destroys me every time. The tremors in his voice, the way the words get caught in his throat, it's like a sledgehammer has been brought down upon my brittle heart and shattered it into a million pieces so tiny that there's no point in picking them back up. There's also the moment where Charlie is at his absolute lowest, where he begins to have a breakdown and tries to mask his feelings by binge eating. It's a gruesome sequence to watch, which is elevated by the soundtrack that spirals both you and Charlie to the depths of despair. Seeing him coat his mounds of food with whatever he can find in the fridge only for his body to reject it moments later. He's tearing himself apart and no one can lift a finger to stop him, glued to our seats left to wallow in our own helplessness. It hurts you to your core. It devastates your very being. I would consider this movie to be perfect. If it wasn't for one scene that I'm still pondering over while I'm writing this movie has been building me up, my eyes already overflowing, yet the ending caused me to break down in a way I wasn't expecting. It's meant to portray a climax that one might consider spiritual in a way, and also possibly an indicator that the last moments may have had an unreliable narrator, but it's also weirdly funny in how suddenly it shifts to this new perspective, along with the noise he makes at the very end. While some might find this an unsuitable ending, it feels more like this final nail in the coffin to cause myself to mentally collapse as I can't handle all the emotions this movie is causing. I love this movie. I think it touched me in places very few are able to, and I wish I could watch it again for the first time so I can shed some more tears at the beauty that we call the whale. Thanks for watching. If you want me to destroy my body with pizza and mayo, let me know in the comments below and tell me your thoughts while you're down there. Like and subscribe for more content. Let me know if there's something you'd like me to cover. I like to talk about anything that interests me. That's all I wanted to say. I hope you all have a good rest of your day.